All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about Shakur Stevenson getting people stuck in a position of being a hypocrite. That and Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, man, we're going to talk about the circus show going on around Gervonta Tank Davis and how we have a lost generation of fighters, man. Absolute boo-boo circumstances showing their rearing their ugly head as Shakur Stevenson reportedly offers to spar Jake Paul for the preparation for the Jake Paul Gervonta Davis fight. Now, before I get into the detail, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for what you do for the channel. It really means a lot. And yeah, man, I'm really sick of this group of people, man. Really, really, really are. So Gervonta Davis fights Jake Paul and he gets a lot of criticism for it. And rightfully so. I don't think anybody in Gervonta Davis's camp doesn't know that Gervonta Davis deserves criticism for fighting Jake Paul. I know Gervonta Davis knows that he deserves criticism for fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul, spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap, because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So do I think that that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight. And then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said, I'd be fighting Jake Paul. Why? Because that's $200 million. Now, what I'm telling you is this whole generation, and I don't mean generation in like the 10-year way. I'm not saying everybody in this age range. I'm talking about specifically a group of fighters and this nonsense that they do by running around on social media all the time, contradicting themselves, going at one fighter for doing one thing while they're actually thinking something totally different. I'm talking about Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, to a certain extent, Keyshawn Davis, even though I think Keyshawn Davis is probably going to get control of himself. Rolly Romero got control of himself, but those four guys, you already know that there's Shakur Stevenson, that even though he said that this is some BS, he's okay with participating in the BS. Also, you have all of this back and forth that had been going on for a long time between Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia. Well, all of a sudden they're seen with each other, dapping each other, talking to each other in videos. You have Ryan Garcia walking right up to a guy in Devin Haney who sued him over that fight that took place. And what are they doing? They're making friends, dapping up, when their fans were telling people that Ryan Garcia was the worst fighter that had ever been. He was an underwear model and all of that. Oh, but hey, man, when it's time for Devin to fight him, oh, he's a great fighter again. Watch when he fight. If Teofimo Lopez was garbage, and after he had lost to George Kambosos, but now boom, big old fight with him and Shakur Stevenson, which is going to do what? Most likely going to be taking place on the PBC. So, man, to me, just watching how these guys have done Gervonta Davis, it's hilarious. On one hand, they want to say Gervonta's never doing anything, but yet they want to do exactly what Gervonta Davis just got done doing. Right? Like, for example, Pitbull Cruz becomes a big name fighter and somebody everybody wants to fight after Gervonta Davis beats him. Rolly Romero gets the Ryan Garcia fight and the shot at a world championship, 2 world shots at championships after Gervonta Davis beats him. Most of the guys that Gervonta Davis beats, people want to go and get them on their resume to say that they did a better job beating them than Gervonta did. Like what Devin Haney tried to do with Yuriorkis Gamboa. Yuriorkis Gamboa for Gervonta Davis was a terrible fight, but Devin Haney, it's a good fight. I could go on and on and on with this particular situation where you got the real guy on the top of the division, Gervonta, and you got a bunch of hangers on who are just getting elevated by social media posts and their gimmicks that they use on social media. To me, that's why we're getting this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul, because there's nobody that has established themselves and really done the job of promoting themselves to the point where Gervonta Davis can get the same money fighting them that he can for fighting Jake Paul. And that is not something that is a failure on the part of Gervonta Davis. It's a failure on the part of Shakur Stevenson. It is the failure on the part of Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez and the rest of the people that have failed to get themselves the fan base that they should have. And why is that? Because of what they do in the ring. None of those guys, with the exception of Teofimo Lopez, is somebody that is putting somebody to sleep with a punch. And even when Teofimo Lopez does do that on occasion, and Shakur Stevenson does it on occasion, it's still surrounded by far too many ho-hum fights that people are just not impressed with. So those guys have to do something other than just try to ride Gervonta Davis' coattails and blame him for not fighting them and saying, well, we're the ones that are fighting. We're doing all the fights that everybody wants. No, people want you to fight Gervonta. Nobody's giving you that particular fight that they want until you put yourself in a situation to get the Gervonta Davis fight. These guys want to play a bunch of promotional games that really hop between promoters like hot potatoes, wondering why their brand and why their name recognition isn't where it should be. And even where their name recognition is present, the excitement around seeing them fight is not there, which I have to tell you is a big difference between guys like Terrence Crawford and guys like Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. And where Terrence Crawford, at the very least, you're going to get some excitement up out of that fight. Because it winds up, the only fight that I would say was kind of lackluster was probably the Ismail Madmarov fight. But even then, Terrence Crawford started picking up the pace on him. Anyway, I just wanted to say that, man, Shakur Stevenson wanting to be part of the crew doesn't surprise me. Just like people criticizing Gervonta Davis for this fight with Jake Paul doesn't surprise me or upset me. However, it does point to a trend that all of the responsibility for the fights and the excitements around that weight division is being put on Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis steps out, makes an easy cash grab like many other people did, and people got something to say. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.